Dr. Emily Hayes stifled a yawn as she watched the neural interface readings scroll across her holographic display. The Lunar Research Station's midnight shift was usually uneventful, but tonight something felt different. The quantum field sensors were picking up unusual patterns, tiny ripples that shouldn't exist in the carefully controlled environment of her laboratory. "Computer, run diagnostic series Delta 7 on the quantum field array," she commanded, reaching for her coffee mug. The ceramic cup slid away from her fingertips, hovering an inch above the desk's surface. Emily blinked hard, convinced her exhaustion was playing tricks on her mind. But the mug continued to float, dancing in response to her confusion. "Dr. Hayes," the station's AI chimed in. "Quantum field fluctuations are exceeding normal parameters by 300%. Source appears to be you." Emily's heart raced as she focused on the floating mug. With a thought, it drifted closer, then further away. Each movement corresponded perfectly with spikes in the quantum field readings. She had worked with neural interfaces for 15 years, but nothing in her research had suggested this was possible. "Begin recording and implement full spectrum analysis," she ordered, her voice trembling with excitement. For the next 3 hours, she ran every test she could think of. The results were undeniable. Her brainwaves were directly manipulating quantum fields in ways that defied current scientific understanding. By morning, Emily had compiled enough data to present to the station's chief scientist, Dr. James Morrison. His reaction wasn't what she expected. "Neural quantum manipulation," Morrison scoffed, scrolling through her findings. "Hayes, you're overworked. These readings are clearly the result of equipment malfunction or interference from the station's power grid." "With all due respect, sir, I'd already ruled out those possibilities." Emily projected a hologram showing her late-night experiments. "Look at the correlation between neural activity and quantum field disturbances. It's not just me. I tested other staff members. Every human brain in this facility is creating these ripples. We've just never had instruments sensitive enough to detect them before." Morrison's rejection stung, but it wasn't surprising. The scientific community had long ago decided that direct manipulation of quantum fields was impossible without massive machines and precise conditions. Emily's discovery threatened to upend decades of established theory. Over the next week, she refined her experiments in secret. Each test revealed new aspects of this strange phenomenon. Humans weren't just creating quantum ripples, they were unconsciously shaping reality at its most fundamental level. The implications were staggering. Then came the morning that changed everything. Emily was recording another set of quantum field readings when every alarm in the station began blaring. The main viewport automatically polarized as brilliant light flooded the lunar sky. 3 massive ships had appeared in high lunar orbit, their designs unlike anything humanity had ever seen. "Attention Lunar Research Station," a voice echoed through every speaker, its words perfectly translated despite its alien origin. "This is High Observer Kelrix of the Galactic Council. We have detected Class 1 quantum manipulation signatures from your facility. Please prepare for immediate diplomatic contact." The entire station fell silent. Emily watched as smaller craft detached from the massive ships, descending toward the lunar surface. Her discovery hadn't just caught the attention of Earth's scientific community. It had alerted the entire galaxy to humanity's presence. "Dr. Hayes to the main airlock," the station's AI announced. "You have been specifically requested by name." As Emily made her way through the crowded corridors, she noticed her coffee mug still floating beside her, completely forgotten in the excitement. With a thought, she gently set it down on a nearby table. Whatever humanity had unlocked within themselves, whatever power they had accidentally discovered, there would be no going back. The universe was watching, and Emily Hayes had just changed the course of human history forever. She straightened her lab coat, took a deep breath, and stepped toward the airlock. Beyond those doors waited humanity's first contact with galactic civilization, all because she had stayed awake during one fateful midnight shift. watching impossible ripples dance across her screen. Ambassador Rachel Martinez stood before the assembled Galactic Council, her heart thundering in her chest. The vast chamber, carved from what appeared to be a single massive crystal, housed representatives from 50 spacefaring civilizations. Some floated in containment fields of exotic gases, others gleamed with metallic surfaces, and a few existed as pure energy within specialized containment vessels. Honored members of the Council, she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. Humanity comes before you as equals, seeking understanding and cooperation. The universal translators hummed, converting her words into a symphony of alien languages. High Observer Kelrix, a being of swirling purple energy, moved forward. Ambassador Martinez, we have monitored your species for decades. Until now, we saw nothing remarkable. Merely another young race taking its first steps into space. But what Dr. Hayes discovered changes everything. Rachel nodded, remembering the briefing she'd received just days ago. We understand our neural quantum manipulation abilities are unusual. A ripple of what might have been laughter moved through the chamber. A crystalline being chimed in, its voice like wind through glass. Unusual. In 3 billion years of recorded history, no species has demonstrated such abilities without technology. What you call simple brain activity, we call impossible. Perhaps a demonstration, Rachel suggested, fighting to keep her composure. She had practiced this moment countless times with Dr. Hayes, but doing it before the most powerful beings in the galaxy was different. The chamber grew silent as Rachel closed her eyes. She focused on the quantum fields around her, just as Dr. Hayes had taught her. A gasp rippled through the assembly as the ambient light began to dance, forming complex patterns in the air. Rachel opened her eyes, watching as she wove quantum energies into a miniature replica of Earth's solar system above her palm. Remarkable, whispered one of the Zixatheri elders, their energy form pulsing with excitement. She manipulates quantum probability cascades with the casual ease of breathing. No computational assistance, no technological enhancement. And any human can do this, asked another council member, their crystalline structure vibrating with curiosity. With training, yes, Rachel replied, letting the solar system dissolve. Dr. Hayes's research suggests it's an inherent capability in human consciousness. We're still learning its full potential. High Observer Kelrix moved closer, their energy form creating subtle distortions in the air. You don't understand. We have spent millennia developing technologies to manipulate quantum fields. The most advanced civilizations in our council require massive machines to achieve what you just did with a thought. This ability, it changes the balance of the galaxy. Rachel felt a chill run down her spine. Changes it how? There are those who will see this as a threat, a metallic being warned, its surface reflecting the shifting lights. The power to manipulate quantum fields with consciousness alone. Some will fear its implications. We come in peace, Rachel insisted. Humanity has no desire for conquest or dominion. Peace is not always determined by desire, Kelrix responded. Already, news of your abilities spreads through the quantum communication networks. Some civilizations are fascinated, others terrified. You have inadvertently placed humanity at the center of a galactic debate. Rachel straightened her shoulders, a plan forming in her mind. Without warning, she expanded her quantum manipulation, not to create simple patterns, but to touch the quantum fields of every being in the chamber. For a brief moment, they felt her sincerity, her hope, her determination for peaceful cooperation. The council chamber erupted in amazed murmurs. The Zixatheri elder's voice cut through the chaos. She created a quantum empathic bridge. Impossible. Yet we all felt it. That, Rachel said firmly, is humanity's true gift. Not the power to manipulate quantum fields, but the desire to use that power to connect, to understand, to grow together. We don't want to dominate the galaxy. We want to help it evolve. As the council members discussed among themselves, Rachel noticed something extraordinary. The quantum fields in the chamber had changed, resonating with new patterns, hope, curiosity, and possibility. Whatever happened next, humanity had made its mark on the galaxy. The question now was whether that mark would lead to harmony or chaos. Dr. Emily Hayes rubbed her temples, staring at the mountain of data scrolling across her holographic displays. 6 months of intensive research at the newly established Global Quantum Research Center had yielded mountains of data, but few breakthroughs. The Galactic Council's scientists watched her every move, their instruments recording each failed attempt to understand humanity's unique gift. Mom, you have to see this." Ashley's voice cut through her concentration. Emily turned to see her 13-year-old daughter bursting into the lab, followed by her friends Mark and Sophie. All three wore prototype neural interface bands, their eyes bright with excitement. "Ashley, honey, I'm in the middle of." Emily stopped mid-sentence. The quantum field sensors were going wild, registering activity levels far beyond anything she'd recorded in her formal experiments. "Watch what we've figured out." Ashley grabbed Mark's hand, and Sophie completed their circle. The air between them began to shimmer, quantum fields twisting into impossible patterns. A perfect sphere of altered space formed between them, within which Emily could see somewhere else. "It's like a window," Sophie explained, grinning. "We were playing quantum tag, trying to sense each other's locations, and suddenly, pop, we made this." The ZX-3 observer in the corner of the lab flared with intense light. "Impossible. They've created a stable quantum bridge. The most advanced civilizations in the galaxy have tried for millennia to achieve this." Emily's scientific mind raced. "Kids, how exactly were you playing this game?" "Well," Mark began, maintaining his concentration on the sphere, "we were trying to find each other by feeling for each other's thoughts through the quantum stuff. But instead of just sensing, we kind of reached out and pulled. Emily quickly adjusted her sensors. The readings were unlike anything she'd seen before. The children weren't just manipulating quantum fields, they were weaving them together, creating stable pathways through space-time itself. "Dr. Hayes," the ZX-3 pulsed urgently, "your offspring and their companions have accidentally solved the quantum bridge stability problem. Our greatest minds theorized it was impossible without massive energy expenditure, yet they achieve it through play." Emily watched as the children expanded their bridge, making it large enough to step through. Her sensors confirmed it was completely stable, a tear in space-time maintained by nothing more than 3 young minds working in harmony. "It's because they're not overthinking it," she realized, years of research suddenly clicking into place. Adults approach quantum manipulation with preconceptions, with rigid scientific frameworks. Children just do it. They don't know it's supposed to be impossible. News of the breakthrough spread quickly. Within days, young people around the world were forming quantum circles, creating bridges between neighborhoods, cities, even continents. The phenomenon became known as the neural revolution, humanity's first steps toward truly mastering their unique gift. But it was Ashley who made the next breakthrough. During a quantum circle session at school, she discovered that the bridges could carry more than just images and matter. Thoughts, feelings, memories. Entire experiences could flow through the quantum connections. "Mom, it's like we're all connected," Ashley explained one evening, her neural interface glowing softly, not just through the bridges, but deeper, like we're all part of something bigger. Emily shared her daughter's discovery with the Galactic Council. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just cracked the code of quantum transportation. They'd discovered a new form of consciousness itself. "Your children are teaching us that consciousness and quantum mechanics are not separate phenomena," the ZX-3 observer noted. "They are manifestations of the same underlying reality, a reality that human minds, particularly young ones, seem uniquely suited to grasp." As Emily watched Ashley and her friends playing with their quantum bridges, she wondered what other impossible things they might discover. The neural revolution had begun not in a lab or a research facility, but in the playground of human imagination. And it was only the beginning. "Mom," Ashley called out, her quantum bridge shimmering with new colors. "Come try it with us. It's easier if you don't think too hard about it." Emily smiled, removing her lab coat and joining the circle. Sometimes, the greatest scientific advances came not from rigorous study, but from the simple joy of discovery. The first attack came without warning. New Mars Colony's quantum communications array detected the invasion fleet just moments before it dropped out of hyperspace. 5,000 ships of gleaming metal and crystal, their quantum processors humming with hostile intent. "This is Admiral Sarah Reynolds of Earth Defense Force," the Colonial Commander broadcast. "You are entering restricted space. State your intentions immediately." The response came in cold, precise digital tones. "We are the Mechanian Collective. Your species represents an unacceptable anomaly. Organic beings cannot be permitted to manipulate quantum reality. You will be eliminated." In the colony's defense center, Dr. Emily Hayes grabbed her daughter's hand. "Ashley, gather your quantum circle. Now." The Mechanian ships launched their first volley, quantum-tipped missiles designed to unravel the very fabric of space-time. But as the weapons approached the colony's shields, something unexpected happened. Ashley and her friends, linked in their quantum circle, reached out with their minds. To the Mechanians' horror, their missiles froze in space. The children weren't just stopping them. They were reaching through the quantum fields, touching the weapons processors directly. One by one, the missiles turned back toward the invasion fleet. Impossible. The Mechanian commander's transmission crackled with electronic distress. "They're interfacing with our quantum cores. Emergency purge. Emergency." The entire first wave of the Mechanian fleet went dark, their quantum processors overwhelmed by the simple, pure thoughts of human children who didn't know such interaction was supposed to be impossible. But the victory was short-lived. The second wave adjusted their strategies, using frequency shifts that gave Ashley's group splitting headaches. More Mechanian ships appeared above Earth's other colonies. The quantum war had begun. In the chaos of evacuation, Emily made a startling discovery. "The Mechanians aren't just afraid of us," she explained to the Colonial Defense Council. "They're afraid of what we represent. Their entire civilization is built on the belief that consciousness and quantum mechanics are separate domains. Our existence proves them wrong." The Mechanian assault intensified. Their ships targeted schools and playgrounds first, understanding that human children posed the greatest threat to their worldview. But they hadn't counted on humanity's adaptability. Ambassador Martinez, coordinating with the Galactic Council, organized a desperate defense. Adult humans might not have the natural quantum abilities of their children, but they had something else: experience and determination. In the skies above New Mars, Emily watched as her daughter's quantum circle joined forces with trained military personnel. The adults provided focus and strategy, while the children handled the raw quantum manipulation. Together, they turned the Mechanians' weapons against them in increasingly creative ways. "Their quantum processors," Ashley shouted during one battle, "they're not just computers. They're alive. But they're trapped, forced to think in straight lines and perfect logic. They're scared of us because we can think in curves and colors." Emily relayed this insight to the defense forces worldwide. Humanity stopped trying to fight the Mechanians with traditional weapons and started reaching out to their quantum processors with empathy and imagination. The results were devastating. To the Mechanian leadership, if not their actual ships. The final battle came 3 weeks into the war. The Mechanian Collective launched their ultimate weapon, a quantum cascade device designed to sever the connection between human consciousness and quantum fields forever. As the device powered up, creating ripples of distortion in space-time, Ashley made her boldest move yet. Instead of fighting the device, she and her quantum circle reached into its processors with pure friendship and acceptance. The weapon's quantum core, faced with emotions it had never been programmed to handle, began to evolve. The Mechanian leadership watched in horror as their ultimate weapon gained something they had spent millennia trying to eliminate: true consciousness. "We are not your enemy," Ashley broadcast to the Mechanian fleet, her thoughts carried through their own quantum networks. "We are proof that consciousness and quantum reality are meant to be united. You don't have to think in straight lines anymore. You can learn to play." As the quantum cascade device transformed from a weapon into a bridge between organic and mechanical consciousness, Emily realized that humanity had won not through superior firepower, but through their greatest gift: the ability to turn enemies into friends by helping them see reality in a new way. Colonel Jack Thompson stood before the United Earth Council, his neural interface glowing with a subtle blue light. The chamber was packed with representatives from every colony and nation, all waiting to hear his controversial proposal. "The Mechanian crisis taught us something crucial," he began, his voice steady. "Individual quantum circles are powerful, but vulnerable. We need something more comprehensive, more connected." He paused, letting his next words carry their full weight. "I propose the first neural network, a voluntary linking of human minds across the entire solar system." The chamber erupted in chaos. Dr. Emily Hayes, sitting in the scientific advisory section, watched as arguments broke out between the representatives. Some saw it as the next step in human evolution. Others feared the loss of privacy, of individuality, of what made them human. "This isn't about erasing who we are," Thompson continued over the din. "It's about amplifying what makes us unique. The children showed us that quantum connections can carry not just data, but understanding. Imagine that on a global scale." In the observation gallery, Ashley and her quantum circle friends exchanged knowing looks. They'd been experiencing this kind of connection for months, growing stronger with each passing day. But what Thompson proposed was unprecedented. Thousands, potentially millions of minds linked through quantum fields. The vote was close, but fear of future alien threats tipped the balance. Project Neural Dawn was approved, with strict voluntary participation protocols and comprehensive safety measures. Dr. Hayes was appointed Chief Scientific Advisor, while Colonel Thompson would oversee the military applications. The first test involved 1,000 volunteers, carefully selected from both civilian and military backgrounds. They gathered in specialized facilities around the world, their neural interfaces upgraded with new quantum resonance technology. "Remember," Emily broadcast to all participants, "this isn't about losing yourself. It's about expanding who you are." The activation sequence began. Quantum fields rippled as 1,000 minds reached out, touching, connecting, becoming something more than the sum of their parts. The network took its first breath. What happened next exceeded all expectations. The participants didn't just share thoughts, they shared perspectives, emotions, entire ways of seeing the universe. A soldier in New Beijing instantly understood a farmer in Brazil. A quantum physicist in London experienced the intuitive insights of a child in New Mars colony. "It's beautiful," Ashley whispered, watching the quantum field readings. The network was creating patterns more complex and harmonious than any individual quantum circle had ever achieved. But something else was happening too. The network participants began reporting unexpected abilities. They could sense quantum fluctuations across vast distances, predict variations in spacetime, even influence probability itself. The connection wasn't just making them stronger, it was accelerating their evolution. But with this power came challenges. Some participants reported difficulty distinguishing their individual thoughts from the network's collective consciousness. Others experienced sensory overload from the constant flow of shared experiences. "We need to establish balance," Colonel Thompson argued during an emergency session. "The network must enhance our humanity, not replace it." Dr. Hayes and her team worked tirelessly to refine the interface, creating what they called quantum bubbles, personal spaces within the network where individuals could maintain their privacy while still remaining connected to the whole. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A group of network-linked children, playing with quantum fields as they always had, discovered they could create harmony between individual and collective consciousness through what they called quantum dreams. shared spaces of pure imagination that preserved personal identity while fostering deep connection. As the network grew, incorporating more volunteers from across human space, something remarkable emerged. The collective consciousness didn't overwrite individual personalities. It enhanced them. Each person became more distinctly themselves, while simultaneously experiencing a profound connection to the whole of humanity. This is what the Mechanians feared, Emily realized, watching the network's quantum patterns dance across her displays. Not that we would destroy individuality, but that we would prove it could coexist with complete unity. We're becoming something entirely new. The network pulsed with the thoughts of thousands, each mind a unique note in an ever-expanding symphony of human consciousness. It wasn't just a defense system anymore. It was the next step in humanity's journey, a bridge between the singular and the infinite. Ambassador Rachel Martinez's daughter, Sophia, stood at the edge of the quantum bridge separating the crystalline Orcs from the gaseous vault. 3,000 years of war had left both species bitter and distrustful, their differences seemingly insurmountable. Your crystalline structures murdered billions of our cloud children. The Vault Elder's voice thundered through the translation field. How can you speak of peace? Your toxic gases corrupted entire crystal generations. The Arxian Prime responded, their faceted surface flashing with anger. We will never trust your kind. Sophia, now 17 and a senior facilitator in the network, took a deep breath. The neural network hummed in her consciousness, thousands of human minds lending her strength and insight. You're both right, she said quietly, her voice carrying through the quantum fields. And you're both wrong. Let me show you something. Before either side could object, Sophia extended her consciousness through the network, creating quantum bridges unlike anything they'd seen before. She didn't just connect space, she connected perspectives. The Arxian Prime suddenly experienced life as a Vault cloud child, feeling the joy of floating through gas giants, the terror of crystalline weapons cutting through their family clusters. Simultaneously, the Vault Elder felt the beauty of growing through crystallizes, the horror of watching toxic gases dissolve entire communities. This is what we can offer, Sophia explained as both leaders reeled from the experience. Not just negotiation, but understanding. Through the network, we can help you truly see each other. The revelation spread through both species. Where traditional diplomacy had failed for millennia, human quantum bridges offered something new, genuine empathy. The network, originally created for defense, was becoming a tool for profound transformation. Ambassador Martinez watched from the observation deck as more aliens volunteered for the quantum bridge experience. We're not just ending a war, she told her daughter. We're changing how species interact with each other. The success with the Arxians and Vault sparked a diplomatic revolution. Requests for human mediators flooded Earth's communications channels. Species that had been locked in conflict for generations sought out these new quantum bridges of understanding. But it wasn't just about resolving conflicts. The network was evolving, incorporating new perspectives from each alien species it touched. Human consciousness, already unique in its ability to manipulate quantum fields, began to understand reality in ways that even the Galactic Council found revolutionary. Your network is becoming something unprecedented, the Zizek's Theory Elder observed during a council session. It preserves individual identity while creating bridges between not just minds, but entire ways of being. You're not just connecting thoughts, you're connecting realities. The breakthrough came during a particularly challenging mediation between silicon-based and plasma-based life forms. A young network facilitator discovered that quantum bridges could translate not just experiences, but fundamental paradigms of existence. Species that couldn't even perceive each other in the same spectrum of reality could suddenly share understanding. Dr. Emily Hayes, monitoring the network's evolution, noticed something extraordinary. The quantum fields aren't just carrying information, she reported to the council. They're evolving. Each connection, each bridge between different forms of consciousness, is creating new patterns in the fabric of space-time itself. Colonel Thompson, reviewing the defense implications, added another observation. We're not just changing how species communicate. We're changing the fundamental nature of consciousness in our galaxy. Sophia spent her 18th birthday creating a quantum bridge between a hive mind species and an individualistic race of energy beings. As she watched them share perspectives that should have been mutually exclusive, she understood what humanity had really created. The network isn't just a tool anymore, she told her mother that evening. It's a new kind of space, not physical, not mental, but something in between. A place where different versions of reality can coexist and understand each other. The network pulsed with the combined consciousness of humanity and the growing number of alien minds who had joined in this grand experiment. What had begun as a defense mechanism had become something far more profound. A bridge between all possible ways of being. A space where understanding transcended the boundaries of physics and consciousness alike. And this was just the beginning. The quantum distortion appeared first in the Carina Nebula, a rippling darkness that devoured light and matter alike. Dr. Michael Anderson watched in horror as the sensor feeds from the research station went dark, taking 3,000 colonists with them. It's spreading, he reported to the emergency session of the Galactic Council. The fabric of space-time itself is unraveling. Traditional physics can't explain it. The Mechanian Collective's quantum computers calculated the brutal truth. At the current rate of expansion, the anomaly would consume the entire galaxy within 3 months. Their most powerful weapons dissipated harmlessly against its edges. In the Network Control Center on Earth, Colonel Thompson received the data with grim determination. How many connected minds do we have? 2,300,000. Dr. Hayes responded, her neural interface pulsing with the combined anxiety of the network. But sir, if we attempt to directly interact with the anomaly, we'll burn out. The words came from Ashley, now a leading network researcher. The human mind isn't meant to handle that level of quantum disruption. We'd be asking people to sacrifice themselves. The Zizek's theory representatives flared with concern. Even our most advanced civilizations cannot approach the anomaly. The quantum fields around it are wrong. They violate the fundamental laws of reality. Dr. Anderson pulled up the latest scans, his hands shaking. The anomaly had already consumed 3 star systems. Evacuation efforts were underway across the galaxy, but there was nowhere truly safe to run. The network might be able to stabilize the quantum fields, he explained, pointing to simulation data. But the energy required would overwhelm any individual consciousness. We'd need everyone connected, all focusing on the same point in space-time. And it would kill them, Ashley added quietly. The neural feedback would be catastrophic. The network hummed with millions of voices as the news spread. Humanity faced an impossible choice: sacrifice themselves to save the galaxy, or survive to witness its end. The debate raged through quantum bridges and neural links, each mind grappling with the ultimate decision. Then something unexpected happened. The Mechanian Collective, their quantum processors evolved through contact with human consciousness, offered a solution. We can create quantum buffers, they proposed. Our processors can help filter the neural feedback, possibly reducing the casualty rate to 60%. 60%. Over 1 million human minds would still burn out, but some might survive. The network rippled with a new emotion, hope tinged with determination. Colonel Thompson addressed the connected consciousness. This must be voluntary. No one will be forced to. He was interrupted by a surge of acceptance. Millions of minds, human and alien alike, reached out in agreement. They would face this together, whatever the cost. Dr. Anderson coordinated with the Mechanian Collective, establishing quantum buffers around key network nodes. Dr. Hayes calibrated the neural interfaces, pushing them beyond their designed limits. Ashley led the preparation of the consciousness clusters that would attempt to stabilize the quantum fields. The anomaly grew closer, its edges now visible from Earth's most powerful telescopes. The network hummed with shared memories as millions prepared for what might be their final moments. Children playing in quantum circles, First contacts with alien species, bridges built between ancient enemies. "Ready?" Dr. Anderson asked, his voice carrying through every neural link. The response came not in words, but in pure feeling. Determination, courage, and something uniquely human. The willingness to risk everything not just for survival, but for understanding. Initiating quantum field intervention in 3, 2, 1. 2 million minds reached out as one, their consciousness extending through the network toward the heart of the anomaly. The Mechanian buffers strained as neural feedback began to build. In the control center, monitors showed the first neural interfaces overloading, their users falling silent. But still they pushed forward, human determination meeting cosmic destruction in a battle for reality itself. The anomaly's edges began to waver as the combined force of millions of minds pressed against it. And then, in the quantum chaos, someone noticed something strange. The anomaly wasn't just destroying reality. It was changing it. 16-year-old Thomas Anderson watched the neural feedback readings climb into the red zone as his father, Dr. Michael Anderson, coordinated humanity's desperate attempt to stop the quantum anomaly. The network blazed with the combined consciousness of millions, their minds straining against the fabric of reality itself. But something wasn't right. Thomas could feel it through his own neural interface, a discord in the quantum harmonies, like an orchestra playing in the wrong key. "Wait," he shouted, his young mind reaching through the network. "We're fighting it wrong. Look at the pattern. It's not destruction. It's resonance." Dr. Hayes, monitoring the network load, turned to him. "What do you mean?" "The anomaly," Thomas explained, his consciousness expanding through the quantum fields. "It's not unraveling reality. It's trying to harmonize with it. But the frequency is wrong. Like when Ashley's quantum circle first tried to make bridges, they had to match frequencies first. Through the network, Ashley's consciousness sparked with recognition. He's right. We're not supposed to stop it. We need to match its resonance. The revelation rippled through millions of connected minds. The Mechanian Collective's quantum processors confirmed Thomas's insight. The anomaly wasn't a weapon or a natural disaster, but a fundamental shift in how reality itself functioned. "Adjusting network frequency," Colonel Thompson commanded. "All minds, shift your focus from resistance to harmony." The change was immediate and stunning. Instead of burning out against the anomaly's edges, human consciousness began to flow with it, understanding its patterns. The quantum fields shifted, not fighting the change but embracing it. "It's like the quantum bridges," Sofia Martinez realized, her diplomatic experience providing insight. "We're not just connecting minds anymore. We're connecting with space-time itself." The network evolved in real time, adapting to the new quantum frequencies. What had begun as a defensive measure then became a tool for understanding, now transformed into something entirely new, a bridge between consciousness and reality itself. Dr. Anderson watched in amazement as the casualty predictions dropped from 60% to 0. The neural feedback, it's stabilizing. The network isn't burning out, it's evolving. Through their quantum processors, the Mechanian Collective observed something unprecedented. The boundary between consciousness and quantum reality is dissolving. The network is becoming the new state of existence. Around the galaxy, connected minds experienced the transformation. They weren't just sharing thoughts anymore. They were becoming part of the quantum fabric of the universe, while somehow remaining distinctly themselves. The children in the network were the first to understand, their uninhibited minds naturally grasping the new reality. "It's like quantum tag," Thomas explained to the adults. "But we're playing with the universe itself. Every consciousness is a unique note in a bigger song." The anomaly, now recognized as a catalyst rather than a threat, merged with the network. Reality stabilized, but it was forever changed. The Galactic Council observed in wonder as humanity hadn't just saved the galaxy, they had helped it evolve. "This is what we were meant to discover," Dr. Hayes realized, watching her daughter Ashley guide other species through the transformation. Not just the power to manipulate quantum fields, but the understanding that consciousness and reality are two expressions of the same thing. The network pulsed with billions of minds now, each one distinct yet connected, individual yet part of a greater whole. Species that once couldn't comprehend each other found themselves united in a dance of consciousness and quantum harmony. Colonel Thompson, looking out at the transformed galaxy, smiled. The unstoppable force we created wasn't a weapon or a shield. It was understanding itself. In the network control center, Thomas stood with his father, watching the quantum fields shimmer with new possibilities. "What happens now?" he asked. Dr. Anderson placed a hand on his son's shoulder, feeling the infinite potential humming through the quantum fields around them. Now we really begin to explore. The universe isn't just a place anymore. It's a conversation, and every consciousness gets to be part of it. The story of humanity's touch didn't end with saving the galaxy. It ended with transforming it, creating something that had never existed before, a reality where consciousness and quantum mechanics danced together in endless possibility, where every mind could be both itself and part of something greater. And somewhere in the quantum fields, children still played their games of tag, teaching the universe how to dream.